Have you ever pondered why some individuals appear to become more isolated as they grow older, while others remain enveloped in love and connection? It's not merely about the passage of time or physical changes. As we age, we often adopt subtle habits that can quietly alienate those around us, strain relationships, and complicate our lives unnecessarily. The most unsettling aspect is that many of us are unaware of these behaviors until it's too late. However, there's a silver lining: change is possible. This video will guide you through the unspoken habits that often go unnoticed. Those that quietly infiltrate your existence, robbing you of happiness, well-being, and intimacy with others. Meet Julie, a 71-year-old retired librarian, whose journey illustrates how these patterns ensnared her and the transformative steps she took to reclaim her life. Why should you stay tuned until the end? We're revealing 9 unexpected pitfalls that might be impacting you or someone dear to you at this very moment, along with straightforward, actionable solutions to liberate yourself. The 7th one will astonish you. It's the one that often goes unnoticed until it has taken a significant toll. By the conclusion, you'll receive a challenge that could begin your journey of transformation today. Stay tuned to learn how to identify habits before they dominate your life, how to rekindle relationships you believed were gone, and how to embrace aging with intention rather than remorse. If you've ever felt isolated, trapped, or simply inquisitive about what might be hindering your progress, this is tailored for you. Show your support by liking and subscribing, and let's dive in, because the longer you postpone change, the more challenging it becomes. If you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to do so and turn on the notification bell to stay updated on all our content. This means a great deal to me, and if you found value in this video, you can support my efforts to share these important lessons by liking and sharing it. If you resonate with the topic, please comment 1, if not, comment 0, to help me understand how I can enhance my content for you. Now, let's dive into the first point: becoming overly negative or critical. Sarah never envisioned herself as someone who would harbor negativity. She always considered herself a person who expressed her thoughts candidly and honestly with those around her. As the years passed, she began to sense a change within herself. It started subtly, a small sigh here, a fleeting complaint there, but gradually, it evolved into a pattern she could no longer overlook. Mornings greeted her with the familiar aches and pains of aging, prompting her to mutter about the passage of time. It seemed like a harmless grumble at first, yet it soon seeped into other aspects of her day. Watching the news, her frustration mounted with each report, leaving her engulfed in a profound sense of helplessness and anger. In the world she inhabited, her words became pointed when addressing her younger relatives. "Back in my day, we had more respect," she would declare, accompanied by an eye roll, as if the youth were somehow letting down her generation. Initially, she remained oblivious to the strain this was placing on her relationships. It felt innocuous, merely a sharing of honest opinions. Yet, gradually, conversations grew briefer. Friends started to sidestep meaningful discussions, instinctively avoiding subjects that would trigger yet another tirade. Even her grandchildren, once enthusiastic about visiting, began to withdraw. To avoid spending time with her, what Sarah failed to recognize was the gradual and subtle erosion caused by her negativity. Regardless of how justified it may seem, no one desires to exit a conversation feeling worse than when they entered. The reality is that negativity acts like a weight, dragging people down and causing them to withdraw instead of connect. It's all too simple to fall into a pattern of criticism. Life can become daunting as the world shifts around us, particularly when circumstances don't always align with our expectations or comfort. Our bodies struggle to cope. The familiar routines that once felt effortless, like shopping, driving, or even navigating a smartphone, can unexpectedly turn into sources of irritation. Expressing these frustrations can provide a momentary relief, yet when negativity becomes your go-to mindset, it transforms into a barrier that separates you from others instead of a means to work through your feelings. So, how can you redirect this energy? Consider initiating your discussions with a positive note rather than diving straight into grievances. Perhaps start with a sense of gratitude. "I woke up feeling good today," or "The sunset was so beautiful last night." The night can transform into a canvas for your daily reflections. Positive energy radiates like a magnet, attracting those who elevate rather than burden. When the need to vent arises, establish boundaries, allow yourself a brief moment to voice frustrations, then shift towards constructive pursuits. Curiosity holds greater strength than criticism. Embrace inquiry, particularly regarding unfamiliar interests of your grandkids, whether they involve an app or a game. Explore with an open mind. When she began to embrace positivity and show authentic interest in her grandkids' lives, Sarah discovered that these small changes fostered connection instead of driving them away. By expressing gratitude more frequently, she observed a significant transformation. Conversations grew longer, and her loved ones started to open up to her once more. Gradually, the warmth of connection that had been absent returned. What she learned, albeit through some struggle, was that the energy you project into the world is the energy you attract. If connection is what you seek, you must first cultivate it yourself. It begins with the way you communicate, the presence you bring into the world, and the perspective you adopt. Secondly, neglecting personal hygiene and appearance can have profound effects. There was a time when Sarah relished the art of dressing up. She took immense pride in her looks, meticulously selecting the ideal outfit, applying her makeup with precision, and styling her hair flawlessly before stepping outside. Her wardrobe was a vibrant collection of blouses in every hue, complemented by a signature scent that she wore with assurance. However, as time passed, a shift occurred. It began with minor choices, skipping hair appointments, choosing comfortable, baggy clothes over the stylish outfits she once favored. She started questioning the need to impress anyone. Gradually, she found herself in her house clothes all day, seldom looking in the mirror. She told herself it was inconsequential, yet beneath the surface, a transformation was taking place. She began to feel a change, and it transcended the perceptions of others. It was about her own self-perception. Sarah began to observe the shift in how people interacted with her. Strangers who once admired her colorful outfits now seemed to avoid eye contact. Friends who previously included her in lunch outings or movie nights began to extend fewer invitations. When Sarah glanced at old photographs, she struggled to recognize the lively woman she used to be. Where had she disappeared to? What had happened to the person who exuded joy and confidence? The reality she had yet to fully understand was that the way we present ourselves to the world influences not just how others see us, but also our perception of ourselves, and our personal appearance transcends vanity. It embodies self-respect and the acknowledgement of who we are, irrespective of age. It's about being present for ourselves, feeling comfortable in our own skin, and affirming our worth. To initiate a shift in this mindset, begin with small, achievable actions. Dress up, even if the occasion isn't grand. It doesn't require high-end fashion, just clean, well-fitting clothes that bring you comfort and confidence. Simple acts like showering, grooming your hair, and maintaining your nails can make a significant difference. Acts of care convey a profound message to oneself: I deserve this effort. Adorning yourself in something you cherish, something that sparks joy, can uplift your spirit. Those little touches, like a spritz of perfume or a beloved piece of jewelry, can transform your day. They serve as reminders of your identity, of the woman you've always been and the one you are continually evolving into. When Sarah began to focus on these simple rituals again, brushing her hair, donning her favorite blouse, and applying a touch of lipstick, she discovered something enchanting. As she began to feel lighter, her confidence blossomed, and she rediscovered her beauty. People smiled at her when she entered a room, and she felt truly seen. More importantly, she felt like herself again, as if the vibrant woman she believed she had lost was gently re-emerging, not only in the eyes of others but in her own reflection as well. Number 3. Becoming stubborn and resistant to change. If you're still watching this video and find these lessons valuable, please comment 1 below to let me know you're still with me, Sarah. She had always taken pride in knowing precisely what she liked and how she preferred things. Set in her ways, this had been her comfort zone. After all, why change what had worked for decades? However, when her children and grandchildren began communicating through text messages instead of phone calls, Sarah found herself resisting. "I don't need to learn all that," she would say, brushing off their offers to teach her. "If they want to talk to me, they can pick up the phone." Yet, as time passed, those phone calls dwindled, and family updates and pictures became less frequent. Birthday reminders started flooding in through group chats she chose not to join. Initially, she didn't recognize it, but she was distancing herself from those she cherished the most. It transcended mere technology. It was about connection, involvement in their lives, and love. Yet, Sarah's stubbornness began to create a barrier. The reality is that change is unavoidable, life progresses, and it's all too simple to feel left behind. The key, however, lies in remaining receptive. It's easy to declare, "I don't." There's a subtle power in the decision to embrace change, even in the smallest ways. Saying yes keeps you involved and alert. You don't need to master everything at once. Begin with little steps. Allow your grandchildren to show you how to send a text or enjoy a show they cherish. Instead of resisting change, welcome it. You might not realize what you're missing until you take that leap. When Sarah finally allowed her granddaughter to guide her in texting, she was taken aback by its simplicity. Even more astonishing was the wave of connection that followed. Longing for daily glimpses of her great-grandkids, those inside jokes, and quick check-ins that fostered her sense of belonging. By releasing her resistance, she discovered something far more precious than mere advancements in technology: true connection. It transcended the act of learning to text. It was about nurturing relationships with those who mattered most. In this journey, she not only unlocked new avenues of communication but also unearthed a profound sense of love and connection within her relationships. The struggle of holding on and the challenge of letting go loomed large. Clutter had become a constant presence in Sarah's life. Each item in her home was imbued with sentiment, holding stories, memories, and fragments of her past that she found impossible to relinquish. Old birthday cards lay untouched for decades, stacks of newspapers awaited a day she promised to read, and clothes lingered unworn for years, yet she clung to them, just in case. Over time, her once cozy abode, a peaceful sanctuary, had morphed into an overwhelming maze, with every corner filled to the brim. Every shelf and room echoed with a truth she could no longer ignore. What was once a sanctuary had transformed into a chaotic battlefield, cluttered with items she scarcely touched yet couldn't bear to part with. Initially, Sarah dismissed the issue, convincing herself that everything held value. She often reassured herself with thoughts of future necessity, finding comfort in the accumulation. Yet, the reality was that the mounting clutter began to stifle the life within her home, her peace, and her spirit. As time went on, she felt herself becoming increasingly overwhelmed. Exhausted from the effort of cleaning and maneuvering through the clutter, it grew increasingly difficult for her to maintain her home, locate what she required, or even entertain guests without a sense of embarrassment. Her once welcoming space had transformed into a stark reminder of her entrapment in the past, reluctant to part with items that no longer held value. When her daughter softly proposed that perhaps she should consider letting go of a few things, Sarah fought against the idea with all her strength, questioning what if she needed them later. In truth, the clutter didn't merely occupy her home, it started to invade her thoughts, weighing heavily on her and obstructing the joy of the present while shrouding her sense of peace. It transcended mere objects, it encompassed the emotional burdens she had gathered alongside them. Releasing these attachments is never simple, particularly when it seems as though a fragment of your heart is linked to each item. However, the reality is that clinging to excess, whether it be physical belongings or emotional weight, can foster a feeling of stagnation. Stuck in the past, unable to move forward, unable to embrace the present, it's a silent thief that robs you of clarity and peace of mind. Sarah finally realized that to feel truly free again, she had to let go. Breaking free from clutter doesn't happen all at once. It requires patience, kindness toward yourself, and the courage to face the truth that you don't need everything you've been holding on to. How does one even begin to break free from this overwhelming mess? Start small. tackle one drawer, one shelf, one box at a time. The thought of decluttering everything at once may seem overwhelming, yet dividing it into smaller, manageable parts can ease the burden. Reflect on whether each item serves a purpose or brings joy. If not, it may be time to let go. Consider donating usable items, recycling those that have outlived their usefulness, or passing cherished belongings to family members who will appreciate them. Transform decluttering into a regular practice by setting a modest goal, perhaps eliminating one item daily. This small, steady effort can yield significant results. Transformation unfolds gradually, and we must acknowledge the practical implications as well. Clutter not only contributes to mental strain but also poses real dangers, heightening the risk of falls, accidents, and injuries. A home should transcend mere shelter. It ought to be a sanctuary of safety, comfort, and tranquility. When Sarah finally mustered the courage to declutter, something extraordinary occurred. The burden she carried seemed to dissipate, and the change was not merely physical. She donated garments she hadn't touched in years and recycled outdated magazines that had cluttered her space. Gathering dust, she organized her living space to make it easier to find the things that truly mattered. For the first time in years, Sarah felt a sense of peace in her home. It wasn't just cleaner, it was lighter, brighter, and more welcoming. She experienced a newfound freedom, one that came from releasing the past and embracing the present. Most importantly, she felt excited to invite friends over again, a feeling she hadn't experienced in so long. Number 5. Losing patience with others too quickly. Sarah had never considered herself an impatient person. She always aimed to be kind, understanding, and forgiving. However, as time passed, she began to notice small cracks in her patience, tiny moments when irritation flared up, causing her to lose her composure. One afternoon, while at the grocery store, she stood in line with a cart full of items. The young cashier was taking his time, fumbling with the bags, and Sarah felt frustration rising within her. Why is he so slow? Can't he move a little faster? Faster, she thought, feeling her temper rise. The words escaped her lips before she could stop them. Come on, can you hurry up? The moment the words left her mouth, she saw the cashier's face fall. He looked down, his hands trembling slightly as he tried to finish his task. That's when it hit her. This young man was new, nervous, and doing his best. And here she was, snapping at him as if he were the cause of her stress. She immediately felt a pang of guilt. Was she becoming the very person she used to dislike? The one who was quick to judge, quick to. As we navigate the complexities of life, it's common to feel a sense of frustration when things don't unfold at the speed we desire. The realization that patience is often in short supply becomes more pronounced with age. Life's pace can be disheartening, and it's easy to lose sight of the importance of kindness towards others. Impatience not only complicates our relationships but also weighs heavily on our own well-being, increasing stress and clouding our judgment. The challenge lies in cultivating a sense of patience and compassion, particularly when the world seems to be dragging its feet. The initial step is straightforward: pause before you respond when irritation starts to arise. Take a deep breath. Consider whether this situation is truly worth your upset. Remember that the slow driver might be someone's grandfather, and the cashier struggling with the bags could be a student doing their best. A touch of patience can make a significant difference. The next time frustration begins to surface, try to change your perspective. Instead of reacting sharply, offer a smile, a kind word, or simply say, "Take your time." Sarah practiced this the next time she encountered the same young cashier. She smiled, complimenting him on his efforts and telling him he was doing a great job. His face lit up, and in that moment, Sarah realized just how powerful kindness can be. It doesn't take much to make someone's day, to ease their burden. Patience, after all, isn't just a gift to others, it's a gift to ourselves too. Choosing patience over frustration leads to less stress, better interactions, and a more peaceful heart. Number 6. Overt talking and not listening. Sarah had always loved to talk. She had a wealth of stories to share and advice to give. Memories to cherish over the years. She had earned the title of the family's storyteller. Yet, there was a challenge she hadn't recognized: her tendency to dominate conversations. One day, her daughter, who had been reaching out less frequently, finally expressed her feelings. "I love talking to you, but sometimes I don't feel heard," she admitted. "It seems like our calls revolve around you, and I never get to share what's on my mind." Sarah was taken aback. How had she overlooked this? She came to understand that during their conversations, she often interjected with her own stories. Experiences, stories, and advice flowed from Sarah without a moment's pause to truly listen. The truth was, she had become so engrossed in sharing her wisdom that she overlooked the importance of giving her daughter the space to express herself. While she had been talking, she had not been listening. As we grow older, it's all too easy to fall into the trap of believing we possess all the answers. We yearn to share our life's lessons and impart the wisdom we've gathered over the years. However, if we neglect to take the time to listen and genuinely hear our loved ones, we risk pushing them away. Sarah had to confront the reality that in her eagerness to, she realized she had unintentionally distanced herself from those she cherished. The essence of meaningful dialogue lies in equilibrium. It's not just about speaking, but also about listening. If you find yourself dominating the conversation, take a moment to pause and inquire, "What about you? How have things been for you?" Make a deliberate effort to express authentic interest in the other person's words. Resist the temptation to interject, even when you have an engaging story to share. Allow the other person the opportunity to express themselves. Pose open-ended questions that foster genuine exchange. Instead of the usual, "How are you?" consider asking something more thought-provoking. This week brought an exciting development. The next time Sarah spoke with her daughter, she made a deliberate choice to truly listen. She asked more questions, allowed her daughter to express herself fully, and only offered advice when it was genuinely necessary. The outcomes were remarkable. Their conversations grew longer, warmer, and more significant. Sarah discovered that the most enriching exchanges aren't about speaking more, but rather about listening more effectively. In that simple act of listening, she found a renewed appreciation for connection. People often distance themselves rather than seek assistance. If you're still engaged with this video and find these lessons valuable, please comment below to let me know you're here with me. Sarah had always taken pride in her fierce independence. It was her identity, her way of life. She dedicated decades to nurturing and caring for others, raising her children with all the love she could muster, managing a bustling household with remarkable efficiency, and even extending her hand to neighbors in need. It felt rewarding to be needed, to be the one others turned to. As the years went by, a subtle shift began to take hold. The once simple tasks that flowed effortlessly now loomed like daunting challenges. One afternoon, she found herself grappling with a heavy grocery bag from her car, her arms quaking under the strain. A young man passing by observed her struggle and, with a warm smile, extended his assistance. "Need a hand with that?" he inquired. In a moment of pride, she managed a smile and declined, "No thank you, I've got it." But deep down, she knew she didn't. As she dragged the cumbersome bag inside, the ache in her back grew more pronounced. Frustration and isolation enveloped her, each step growing heavier than the last, not merely due to physical exhaustion, but from the emotional weight of turning away someone's kindness. She had distanced herself from someone who genuinely wanted to assist, someone who recognized her struggle and sought to alleviate it. In that moment, Sarah felt an overwhelming sense of loneliness. Later that night, as she sat in the stillness of her home, a painful realization struck her like a chilling breeze. Her refusal to seek help, to accept help, was not a testament to her strength. No, it was gradually distancing her from the very ties that once provided her solace. She was opting for solitude instead of companionship, self-sufficiency over mutual reliance. Why is it that seeking assistance is perceived as a sign of strength rather than frailty? Requesting help does not render you a burden, it grants others the chance to express their care, love, and support. People sincerely wish to assist, but if you persist in pushing them away, they will eventually cease to extend their hands. When that occurs, you will discover yourself not only weighed down physically but emotionally as well. When you embrace assistance, it nurtures connections and forges bonds between souls, crafting moments of shared humanity that transcend the immediate task. Whether it's holding a door, lifting a burden, or lending a compassionate ear, allowing others to help lightens the load not just in a physical sense but emotionally as well. It serves as a poignant reminder that we are not meant to navigate life in isolation. By letting others contribute, you bestow upon them a precious gift. Can you envision a world where no one ever sought your support? It would leave you feeling insignificant and unvalued. So, why withhold the opportunity for others to feel needed? The joy of assisting you. Sarah realized she needed to change. The next time someone offered help, she promised herself she would let go of her pride. She would say yes. The next time she was at the store and spotted that young man again, Sarah smiled warmly and said, "Actually, I could use a little help today." His face brightened as he took the bag from her hands, and in that moment, Sarah felt a weight lift, not from her back, but from her heart. In that simple exchange, something deep within her shifted. She felt seen, valued, and most importantly, connected. Have you ever experienced the challenge of reaching out for assistance or the happiness that comes from extending a helping hand to another? It's a profound reminder of our shared humanity and the importance of connection. It's perfectly acceptable to allow others to support us. Now, consider the notion of being overly cautious with finances to the point of missing out on life's pleasures. Sarah epitomized financial discipline. She approached budgeting with fervor, eagerly clipped coupons, avoided vacations effortlessly, and deliberated extensively before making any non-essential purchases. Despite having a comfortable savings, there was always that lingering hesitation. A persistent unease lingered in her thoughts. What if she needed this money later? What if something unforeseen occurred? It was an unending loop of saving, but for what purpose? What was the value of amassing wealth if she wasn't utilizing it to embrace the life she envisioned? Then came an invitation from her best friend, Emily, for a weekend getaway to the countryside. "It'll be so much fun," Emily exclaimed, her voice brimming with enthusiasm. "We'll explore, enjoy delicious food, and just unwind." Yet, Sarah's first instinct was to decline. Travel equated to spending money. Dining out felt like a financial burden, stirring up a wave of anxiety within her. The thought of regretting her spending loomed large, yet a quiet voice inside nudged her, reminding her of the last time she indulged herself. For years had passed in a cycle of saving for an elusive future, but as she gazed at Emily's invitation, a question arose: what if that future never arrives? What was the purpose of saving if it meant sacrificing the joy of living in the present? While being prudent with finances holds value, life encompasses more than mere responsibility. Accumulating savings is about embracing life, truly engaging in experiences such as travel, outings, or hobbies that offer lasting joy far beyond any material possession. Research indicates that investing in experiences fosters memories that endure long after the purchase fades from memory, while objects, gadgets, and clothing diminish in value over time. Sarah dedicated her entire life to achieving this level of financial security, yet she realized that security devoid of fulfillment resembles an empty vessel. The essence of a well-rounded life lies in balance and enjoyment. The fruits of your labor do not diminish your achievements, they honor them. So, how can Sarah change this habit? She decided to give herself permission to spend and enjoy life's little pleasures. Whether it was a dinner out, a spontaneous hobby, or a weekend getaway, she vowed to prioritize experiences that nourished her soul. She even set aside a fun fund, an account specifically for her enjoyment. The next time Emily asked her to join the weekend trip, Sarah hesitated no longer. She said yes, and oh, what a difference it made. She laughed more and embraced the joy of living. In those 2 days, she experienced more than she had in months. The sun warmed her face, and she savored the joy of good food shared with good company. Most importantly, as she watched the sunset with Emily, she remembered how to truly live. This was what she had been saving for all along, the moments, the memories, the connections. Money was meant to support her happiness, not just sit untouched in a bank. What experiences have you been postponing because of finances? Life isn't waiting for you to be ready, the time is now. Number 9. Talking down to younger generations. Sarah cherished her grandson Noah. His visits were the pinnacle of her week. She relished hearing about his school life, his hobbies, and especially his enthusiasm for video games. However, recently, those visits seemed to have shifted, feeling more distant. Their conversations had become strained and awkward, and she noticed Noah was less eager to engage, often more focused on his phone than their time together. One afternoon, Noah excitedly mentioned a new app he had discovered. Without thinking, Sarah sighed and shook her head, recalling how, in her day, they didn't rely on technology as much. Kids went outside to play, not stare at screens all day. Noah went quiet, and a few minutes later, he mumbled, "I should probably get going." The door clicked shut behind him, leaving Sarah alone, the sharp sting of regret hitting her chest. She hadn't meant to push him away, but her words, though intended to share wisdom, had only served to make him feel dismissed and invalidated. In her attempt to connect, she had unintentionally built a wall between them. Why does talking down to younger generations push them away? It's easy to get stuck in the nostalgia of the good old days, but constantly reminding younger individuals that things were better in the past can make them feel like their experiences and challenges don't matter. Instead of fostering understanding, it creates division. Every generation faces its own unique set of challenges and battles, and instead of criticizing them for it, we should be lifting them up, offering support and encouragement. So how can Sarah change this habit? The next time Noah mentioned something new, Sarah took a deep breath and said, "That sounds fascinating. Please elaborate." Instead of dismissing it, she embraced curiosity, making a concerted effort to grasp his perspective. She asked questions that made him feel acknowledged, and when Noah shared his game strategy, something remarkable unfolded. They forged a connection not through judgment, but through shared respect. Their dialogue flowed effortlessly, and for the first time in ages, they experienced a moment of authentic connection. What about you? Have you ever found it challenging to relate to younger generations? What helped you bridge that divide? At times, the focus should shift from altering others to truly grasping their experiences, perceiving the world from their viewpoint, and connecting with them in their current state. Clinging to grudges and regrets resembles the burden of a heavy load, gradually depleting your strength. This burden transcends mere mental strain. It infiltrates every aspect of your existence, robbing you of present happiness and obscuring your outlook. Each moment spent ruminating on past hurts denies you the opportunity to embrace the beauty of the present. Have you ever found yourself lost in the echoes of a past injustice or betrayal? In that moment, it feels as though you're not just revisiting the pain, but the world around you dims slightly. This is the hold of resentment. The tighter you hold on to those negative memories, the further you drift from the love and joy that exists in your life today. It's a difficult truth to face, but bitterness can silently wear away at relationships. It sneaks in, almost imperceptibly, making it increasingly challenging to connect with those you cherish. Before you know it, that resentment takes root. Expands into a barrier that separates you from those you care about, and in the most troubling instances, it morphs into resentment that accumulates over time, leaving your heart feeling calloused. You find yourself questioning why solitude envelopes you, even amidst a throng of people. Moreover, we cannot overlook the impact it has on your well-being. These lingering grudges and regrets are far more than mere emotional weights. They manifest as stress that resides within your body. The persistent strain and negativity can elevate your blood pressure, disrupt your sleep, and even compromise your immune system. You might attempt to brush it aside, but deep down, you are aware. It's impacting you, and there's no escaping the repercussions of clinging to past hurt. If you're still engaged with this video and find these insights valuable, please drop a 3 in the comments to show me you're still with me. So, how do you release and discover the emotional liberation you truly deserve? It begins with embracing the difficult reality that the past is unchangeable. What's done is done, and no matter how often you revisit those moments in your thoughts, they won't alter. Rather than questioning why this happened to you, consider rephrasing that inquiry. Consider what lessons can be gleaned from your experiences. In doing so, you liberate yourself from the hold of the past and empower yourself to create a future that is both healthier and happier. Forgiveness is essential, not for the one who caused you pain, but for your own well-being. When you forgive, you are not condoning their actions. Instead, you are diminishing their influence over your life and reclaiming your freedom. It's a challenging reality, but releasing those grudges is not a sign of weakness. It is a demonstration of courage and strength. It's about taking back control of your life, your peace, and your heart. It can be simple to lose sight of your intentions, but when you find yourself reverting to familiar feelings of resentment, take a moment to pause and shift your thoughts towards something uplifting in the present. Consider writing a letter to articulate everything you've been holding in, then choose to tear it up, burn it, or simply let it float away, recognizing that it's time to let go. You deserve that release. Sarah's experience illustrates this journey. For 4 years, she bore the weight of past pains, until one evening, with a piece of paper in hand, she resolved to set herself free. She poured her heart out on that page, every regret, every wound, and with a deep breath, she allowed herself to finally release them. In that moment, something inside her shifted. For the first time in a long while, she felt lighter, freer. The weight that had been dragging her down for years lifted, allowing her to move forward. Ignoring health problems can seem like a convenient escape at first. Who wants to face the possibility of something being wrong? But this denial, this avoidance, can be. Seemingly insignificant symptoms that we tend to overlook can serve as the body's subtle alerts about more serious underlying issues. That dizziness you've been experiencing might be a sign of dehydration or, even more concerning, an early indication of a stroke. The fatigue you attribute to aging could actually point to undiagnosed heart disease. We often reassure ourselves that these feelings are trivial or that they'll simply fade away, but the reality is that postponing medical checkups can lead to far more severe consequences later on. Minor issues left unaddressed can escalate into major health crises. Why do we hesitate? Why do we deceive ourselves? It's perfectly acceptable to overlook something that doesn't seem quite right. Perhaps it's due to our hectic lives, where we become so engrossed in everything else that we neglect to pay attention to our bodies. Or maybe there's a fear of what we might discover. However, the reality is that ignoring those warning signs doesn't make them vanish, it only exacerbates the situation. Taking preventive measures is always more manageable than dealing with a crisis. By making minor changes to our lifestyle, such as enhancing our diet or incorporating regular exercise, we can steer clear of significant health issues. Prevention truly is a valuable gift. Self-love and care are often overlooked, a lesson Sarah learned the hard way after her fall. Struggling in pain at the hospital, she realized how easily she had neglected her health. She had convinced herself that the dizziness was merely a part of aging, but that painful wake-up call shifted her perspective. She vowed never to ignore the small signs again, promising to listen to her body, take better care of herself, and stop the cycle of neglect. Prioritizing her health, she began to drink more water, attend balance classes, and schedule regular doctor visits. Taking charge of her well-being didn't equate to losing her independence. Rather, it was about embracing responsibility before issues escalated. This is a valuable lesson we can all take from Sarah. So, reflect on this. Have you been overlooking something your body has been signaling? Don't wait until it's too late. Your health deserves attention. Take action now. You are worthy of it. Embrace a life brimming with vitality, beginning with heeding the subtle cues your body conveys. As Sarah settled into her serene living room, perusing through cherished photo albums, she was transported back to moments filled with laughter, joy, and exhilaration. The images of her playing with her grandkids, dancing at family gatherings, and basking in the sunlight reminded her of a time when happiness was abundant. She recognized that, at some point, she had ceased to pursue that kind of joy. Life had morphed into a monotonous routine. However, when Emily extended an invitation for movie night, Sarah felt a spark of possibility reignite within her. Though hesitant, something within her compelled her to agree that night. As laughter erupted from deep inside, Sarah sensed a part of herself stirring. The joy that had long been hidden was still present, eager to be found again. For the first time in ages, she recalled the sensation of laughing until her stomach ached and tears streamed down her face. Laughter serves as a remedy for the soul. It transcends mere amusement, playing a crucial role in our emotional and physical health. It alleviates stress, enhances immunity, and promotes better circulation. And even aids in memory. The simple act of laughter can draw us nearer to those around us, fortifying bonds and nurturing relationships. As we grow older, laughter serves as a reminder that we can still retain a youthful spirit. It's a gentle encouragement to live joyfully and to appreciate the simple pleasures life presents. Sarah departed from Emily's house that evening with a buoyant heart, coming to the realization that joy isn't merely stumbled upon, it's a choice. The following morning, rather than succumbing to the news or allowing her routine to govern her day, she turned up her favorite music and danced around her kitchen, that moment of laughter marking the decision to invite joy back into her life. It was the beginning of something beautiful, a reminder that it's never too late to make that choice for yourself. Don't wait for the perfect moment, create it. Choose joy. As we reflect on the importance of letting go of grudges, prioritizing our health, and embracing joy in our lives, consider what you've learned today. What resonated with you the most? Perhaps it's the power of forgiveness or the truth that laughter can truly be the best medicine for both body and soul, or perhaps it's simply the reality that neglecting health signals can lead to serious repercussions. Whatever it may be, take a moment to reflect on one lesson you've learned today that you'll incorporate into your life. I would love to hear from you. What's one commitment you're making to practice moving forward? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more insightful content. Your support truly matters. The universe to us.